What is up, everyone? It is a Friday night podcast, the Angry Hacks podcast. It's good night tonight, boys. We're going to do some baseball, some Mets, some Yankees. And today I got my boys, Mike and Stan the Man. Mike, what's going on, my man?
What's up, Nuns?
Not too much. Stan the Man, how's it hanging, bro?
Hanging all right, Rye. How you doing, bud?
Well, just the typical Friday after a nice long Mets losing streak. Just the same.
Yeah.
But if you're tuning in, we're gonna have a nice little podcast tonight. A little baseball. We're gonna talk some New York Mets, New York Yankees, and then some other topics that have been on our mind. So let's get right into this. We'll go with the good first, Michael. That's your Yankees, man. Talk.
Yeah, not so good tonight. Losing 3-0 right now to the Sox. Obviously a huge series, and it's not off to the best start. As you guys well know, coming off a 4-game sweep of your Metropolitans. Obviously two teams trending in different directions. But this is a big one this weekend for the Yanks with Boston. The season is going to come down to these games with the Red Sox. And if we don't, out of the 7 remaining, if we don't take 5 or 6, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard pressed to take the division. But a lot of promising signs this past week. Hicks coming back. I'm sure you guys noticed him a little bit. Gardner hit a little bit. Gary Sanchez is 100% locked in right now at the plate and behind the dish, too. I think you guys might have noticed he was challenged by Girardi defensively. He lost some playing time back there. Girardi called him out in the media. And Sanchez looked like he took notice, and he's been working a lot harder back there. A little more on his toes, a little more mentally focused and in tune. But at the dish, man, he is totally locked in. Judge keeps striking out, but who the hell cares? He's going to strike out a lot his whole career. You know what I mean? Who cares? If Aaron Judge hits 270 for his career and averages, between 35 and 45 homers a year, 100 plus RBI. Who cares how many times he's going to strike out? It's a record-setting pace. He strikes out every single game, but I don't care.
Did he strike out tonight yet?
I don't believe so. He just walked his last at bat. I saw he singled earlier, so I think he's 1 for 1 right now with a walk. So, right. You know what? The streak dies tonight, and we can stop freaking talking about it.
Yeah,
it's really stupid. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Strikeouts they're so meaningless, and everyone wants to talk about, the home run. Here comes the home run derby talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you guys are as sick of that as I am, the home run derby ruins it. Well, I don't think it's ruined Giancarlo Stanton's swing.
No, that's the easy way for people to pick on somebody.
It's such an easy excuse, and I know a couple of these guys were only 1 round and done, but Stanton, he's hitting pretty well right now. Charlie Blackmon hasn't slowed down a bit. Moustakas, I'm not sure about Sano, but this home run derby crap is bogus. But overall, Yankees are playing good baseball. Castro and Holiday reportedly starting their rehabs tonight. So
good news.
Good news. Definitely more excited about Castro because the year he was having was incredible, and we've missed him big time. Torreyes has done a really nice job filling in. Torreyes is a nice little pesky player, but he's not Starlin Castro. And Starlin Castro in the lineup. Castro was hitting cleanup in the beginning of the season. We lost our cleanup hitter. Holiday, you knew the struggles when he came back the first time from the weird infection or whatever the hell he had. Now he's had the back. We'll see. Everyone's gonna be paying close attention to see how he hits when he.
You know what, Mike? I hate to cut you off really quick.
Go ahead.
But it's actually when Castro coming back, it's really nice to have a guy like a pesky Torres off the bench, man. I think
Right.
that's excellent guy to have off the bench.
Right, and the team's better when Torres is your third middle infielder rather than your starting second baseman. And that's not to take anything away from him. Because remember, Torres was our starting shortstop opening day when Didi wasn't ready from the World Baseball Classic injury. And Torres did an outstanding job. And now Castro's missed a big chunk of time. Torres plays second base, and he's done a really, really nice job.
Right.
But, Didi and Castro, that's the middle you want. And Torres, to fill in guys need a day off. If Holiday comes back and doesn't hit, I can see DH still being kind of revolving door. So you want to DH Didi, play Torres at short. You want to DH Castro, ease him back in. You easily have Torres at second base. So it adds to the flexibility. It deepens the lineup, obviously. And we'll see. I don't know how long rehab is going to be for these guys. Castro's missed a ton of time. Bird, I think, is still kind of lingering around. He's getting close, this and that. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, it's kind of like you forget about that guy.
Right, yeah. You always forget about Bird, but he's I guess he's still rehabbing. But again, I'll believe that when I see it. And like I said before, he has to come up and hit. He's not a real established guy. Everyone's excited about the potential there, but I mean, he was like 1 for 30 or something astronomically bad at the beginning of the season. So Greg Bird, he has to hit to be in the lineup. But we'll see if he comes back. I think the big one, getting Hicks back and when Castro comes back, makes the lineup so much better.
Yeah, and I think you said it right when you said that these games with Boston Red Sox are astronomically huge because you want to win that division, man. We've talked about this 100 times. You want to win that division. The wild card, it's a tough game. I like how they do it. I think we've discussed that too. It gives another team a shot, but it's one game. It's one game. Anything can happen in one game.
Now, the good news with that, if you look at the teams, the big stud pitchers in the AL that you don't want to run into in a one-game situation, they're all probably going to be on division-winning teams.
Okay.
If you want to talk about playoff teams, that is. You want to talk about Sale, Kluber, if Keuchel still worries you, those guys are not going to be in the wild card game. If the Yankees are in it, we'll give Boston the division then in that case. So Sale won't be in that game. You won't see Kluber because the Indians probably win the Central. And, the Astros have already won the West. So
right.
A team you're going to play in that game, whether it's the Angels who have come out of nowhere, who on that staff scares you, or, I don't know, Toronto's close. All these teams, I would put up either Severino if he could, Sonny Gray, Tanaka if he's halfway Tanaka. I'll take any one of those guys against any one of those clowns from these any other wildcard teams.
True.
That's the good news.
That's very good news. The one guy that I think could maybe put a thorn in your side on a one-game set if it happened to be there, and they might not make the playoffs. They could miss it by 10 games the way the race is going, is Chris Archer.
Yeah.
But that's it.
And he popped in my head when I said playoff teams, because, I always think about Archer too. Hopefully, I guess they're still in the thick of it. A lot of teams are.
Right. But even then, you might even want to take Severino over him. I mean, the way he's pitched this year.
I'll take Severino over anybody right now.
I was going to say that.
Overall, good. It was nice. It was nice to get to sweep you guys. 4 wins against anybody is big. But these games against Boston is the division and losing right now. So.
Well, how many? What do you got? This series and another 2 series, or another 1 series? What do you got?
It's this 3 in Fenway this weekend, and then we have a 4-game set back at Yankee Stadium soon. And I don't think we play Boston at all, like in the last 3.5 weeks, which is a really weird scheduling quirk.
Yeah, that's really.
They're all going to come. So, but I think even if there's 15, 20 games left. After the Boston games are over, I still think the division is going to be decided.
Right. Well,
So
I mean,
let me hear some Mets stuff, guys.
yeah.
Well,
I mean, that was. I mean, this. There's really not much to say right now. I mean, the Yankees they're playing well right now. They just beat up on our lowly Mets, as we like to call them, and they, it's just I wanna cry sometimes when I watch my team. I really do. I want to cry, Rye.
it's comical. It's comical.
Yes, I want to cry as laughing cry, and I also want to cry as I want to punch a hole through my wall cry.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Mike's like, I always, sweep the Metropolitans. 4 wins is great against anybody. I just find it funny. It's like a sadistic funny. I just find it funny the Mets can't trade the Yankees Jay Bruce for multiple prospects, but they can roll over for 4 games and let them win 4 games. Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Not at all. Now, God, I guess I'll start us off because, I mean, I got so many things running through my head with this team. And I feel like every time I talk about this team, either with you, Rye, or my other friend, I constantly say the same shit. I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel like I say the same shit all year long. I mean,
yeah.
Don't you think?
Yes, totally. It's the same shit because it's the same old, dog and pony show. I mean,
the dog and pony show.
every once in a while we get that year or that glimmer of hope, and then it's like, okay, we're going to be good for a long time. Coming into this year, as a Yankee fan, I mean, maybe you thought the Yankees would be good this year, but I'm sure you thought that the Mets would be right up there with them. But no, again, the Yankees just are in front of us again. We can never stay in front of them for any length of time.
I'll tell you what, if I could, from an outsider's perspective, because I got a good look at you guys. I know you had the Reyes and who else? You had Darno playing third base every other play.
Flores was hurt too.
Yeah, right. So it's like injury to insult, back to injury, back to insult. But the 2 kids, I mean, I like them a lot. Rosario takes Chapman deep. Chapman probably threw him one too many sliders, but nonetheless, the kid is a major leaguer, and he's going to be for a long, long time. Smith didn't hit much. I mean, he hit the homer. Opposite field, what you like, but I like him over first base, man. He is slick over there, and at least 2 things to be excited about.
Well, yeah, it's 2 things to be excited about, but apparently Terry Collins is not super excited about Dominic Smith, Rye. What do you think about that?
Like, I understand the game hasn't played yet today, but he's not playing him tonight. Why? Because a lefty starting?
I guess so. I guess he doesn't have the, I mean, I guess we're trying to win ball games. I understand that Wilmer Flores needs to be in the lineup against a lefty, and I want Wilmer Flores to stay in the lineup lefty, but maybe you put him somewhere else because Wilmer Flores is like our utility guy that plays all over the infield. Let's put Dominic Smith at first and Wilmer somewhere else.
Well, dude, you're so right. This guy, if he's going to be an everyday first baseman, he's got to hit against righties. He's got to hit against lefties. He's not going to be a guy coming off the bench. This is one of your stud prospects. He's got to hit against everybody. So why, when you bring a guy up and you're saying that you're going to let him play every day, just like Rosario, which is the right move, now you sit him because he's playing a lefty? What?
It's not like this is Clayton Kershaw out there tonight that he's sitting him against.
Nicolino.
Exactly. And the other night in the game, I know Mike just mentioned Rosario's homer off of Chapman, which is great. But there was a man on base there, and it was Reyes. And because Terry Collins pinch hit Jose Reyes for Dominic Smith in the situation.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't like the move then. He's gotta face lefties. He's gotta, and you're hurting his confidence. The guy, he didn't He wasn't dismal against lefties in the minors the last couple of years. His average is okay. I mean, better than some of the guys in the majors. So you let him go out there. Now, the move in the game ended up working out because Reyes came up and got a hit, and Rosario hit the home run. Move at the time.
Yes, Rye. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, that shit usually doesn't work with Terry. And we're ripping him. But we're still ripping him because it was the wrong move. I'm still going to stand by that move as being the wrong move. Did it work out? It did. It did end up working out. But it's still the wrong move.
Right. It was the wrong move. I could see that move more than tonight. I could see them, maybe, Chapman's up there.
Right.
Let's have him pitch hit for him. But tonight against Nicolino, Smith needs to be out there. I mean, I looked at the last 4 years of his career in the minors, and this year he was hitting 247 against lefties. Not great, but it's 247. It's not below the Mendoza line, And last year was 261, and the year before that he batted 314, and then the year before that he batted 311. So he has some solid history against lefties. I know it's minor league lefties. I get it. But we need to see if that can translate to the big leagues.
Yep. No, it doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't. He's got to face these lefties. He's got to face all lefties, man. He's got to face Chapman's, guys that are throwing 100 from the left side. He's got to face Nicolinos, guys that we barely know. He's got to face them all because they're going to be guys that are always going to be out there in the major leagues. He needs to go against lefty major league starting and relieving pitchers. He can't, Terry was doing this with Conforto too last year and the year before. He wasn't letting him hit against lefties.
Yeah, you know who else he did it with?
Who else?
Daniel Murphy back in the day.
Oh, you're right. Good point.
And who is one of the best hitters in baseball that never strikes out, puts the bat on the ball against whoever it is, gets home runs off of Kershaw in the playoffs?
Daniel Murphy. Take a breath, Rye. I hear you, brother.
Pisses me off, this guy, Terry Collins.
It does. It does piss you off. I mean, this is a move that can't be made. I mean, he's got to have Smith out there. All right. I understand he's trying to protect the kid. I do understand that. And you know what? Terry is a guy that is a player's manager. We've talked about that before, time in and time again. But there's no room to play around here. I don't care. We're out of it. Yes. Let the freaking guys hit. Let these youngsters hit. Let them play every day. You gotta let them play.
I know.
And this is the problem, man. And I don't think that Terry should come back next year, but there's a possibility. I don't know if you heard this, right? There's a possibility that the upper brass in the New York Mets organization is going to let Terry make that decision. And if he makes the decision to come back, they'll grant him a new contract. What the hell?
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my God.
Did you hear that or no?
No, I did not hear that.
Yeah, I heard that the other day. It's been stuck somewhere in my brain, and it just clicked when we were talking about Terry.
You're breaking news to me here. It's news that just solidifies the fact that the New York Mets organization has no damn clue what they are doing.
None. And what? And Rye, what is it? Tweak.
Tweaks my freaking melon.
It really does. It really does. And I mean, oh God, I don't even want to go too much more into Terry because I mean I can sit here for a while and the upper brass. I keep calling them the brass, like they're
brass buttons.
Yeah, that we should be shining them because they're great. But I need to get this off my chest now because I think my chest hairs are growing as I'm getting annoyed. But we have a pitcher named Steven Matz.
Oh no.
He's really getting on my nerves.
The pride of Wood Melville High School.
Yeah, I know. 10 minutes away from our hometown, Michael. Every time I watch him go out there, it's a new type of anger that I build up watching him. Okay, I've cried. I've gotten beat red. I've sweat so much. I thought my face was going to explode. It's just, guys. Okay, let me put it this way. And it looks like when he goes out there and underperforms, which he's doing this year, it's like he's got that la-di-da attitude, and it seems like he's like blaming others. That's just the way his body language.
You know what, Rye? I kind of noticed that.
Right?
It was after the Sanchez home run in the first.
Yes.
Worthen came out for the mound visit. Oh, real quick, I thought it'd be really funny. I thought about this randomly. Instead of mound visits, say like you get into like an 0-2 hole. Imagine like the hitting coach came out and like talked to the batter, like he stepped out of the box. And like
that would be great.
So anyway, Worthen comes out and I had that same thought, Ryan. Like it looks like this kid doesn't give a shit.
Dude,
or he's so lost he doesn't know what to do anymore. But I kind of get that feeling of, wow, he just looks like a schmuck right now.
I'd like to crawl inside his mind to see what is going on. He was slunking around the place, freaking gorilla arming, just arms down by his sides. It just looks like he just doesn't want to be there right now. I mean, he's 2-7. I'm not into too much of the win-loss record, but still, 2-7. His ERA is 6.08 right now. God awful.
Garbage.
Now the one stat that I looked up that's really alarming to me. I mean, yes, he's still only 26 years old, so there is time. But this one's really alarming to me. He's got 48 strikeouts in 66 and 2/3 innings pitched this year. So that's a 6.5 Ks per 9 innings, which last year his Ks per 9 were 8.8. That's a big drop off.
Yes, it is.
Huge drop off. And you know why, Michael? Do you want to know why?
Why do you think that is?
Off? Okay. His fastball, he usually keeps it around 93 he gets it up there about 96, maybe touches 97 at times. From the left side, it's nice. But that fastball all year, and I've watched a lot of him pitch this year, that fastball is freaking flat, man. It is flat. There is no cut. There's no movement in it whatsoever. So that flat fastball, those major league ready or just major league fastball hitters are going to demolish it. Now, yesterday,
could throw 70 miles an hour if it's flat. Someone's going to hit it.
Now, you mentioned that 0-2 changeup that Sanchez got yesterday. That's another problem he's having. That changeup he throws, it just floats up there. I think I texted you guys that it floated. That's basically what it did. It just floated up there. There was no break to it. It was, it just floated right over the middle. It was a terrible pitch. And a strong guy like Sanchez, who's, like you said, Mike, is going right now. Yes, he crushed it. He crushed the pitch. And then his bread and butter, that curveball, which I love that he throws. Dude, I've watched it so many times this year. It just hangs up in the strike zone. Okay? It's hanging up there. So basically, everything he's throwing lately is up in the zone. And you guys know when a major league pitcher is constantly up in the zone, what happens usually?
Shelled.
You're not going to be in the major leagues very long.
Shelled, destroyed. You can use any type of adjective you want. I mean, it's terrible. So, like, Rye, let's discuss something about Steven Matz then. Like, it's making me angry, and it should make both of us angry. We are the angry hack, so we got to be angry at times, and there's plenty of times we are angry. Like, what do they do with him? I've heard. Well, hold on a sec. I've heard many sources. Do they send him down to the minors? What do you think about that one?
Oh man,
you send him down?
I can't rule it out. The way he's pitching, I can't rule it out. He needs to figure something out. Maybe the place to do that is the minors.
Mm-hmm.
And then he could bring it back up here. But maybe it is the minors. I honestly don't know. Like you said, his attitude on the mound, his facial expressions, his mannerisms, they just look off. Just like a Steven Matz thing, if it's a Mets pitching staff thing, I don't know. I know he's
And Warthen and both Warthen and Collins have asked him if he's hurt. You know, that's usually the go-to if a guy is struggling like this. If he's usually a solid pitcher, they ask him if he's hurt, and he said no. I mean, you don't know what to believe because guys may not want to say that they're hurt. You know, maybe they want to still be out there, but dude, he's hurting the team. I know the team is out of it. I know. I've already come to the fact that this team's out. But dude, if you're still hurting the team, give some other guys some chances for us to win some ball games, man. I can't go out there as a freaking New York Mets fan and watch you get shelled every time you go out there.
Are you more confident in a Chris Flexen start or a Steven Matz start?
Right now, if you had a gun to my head, I would want Chris Flexen out there.
Exactly.
Flexing his muscles.
That says a lot.
And that's why maybe Matz does need to go to the minors.
Well, the good thing, I agree with you 100% because the good thing is he's still young. He's 26. If he was like 30, 31, I would say, what's the point? But he's still a young guy. You know, he still could have many good years left because we've seen the good with Mats. We've seen the good. Go ahead.
No, let me just say, like, with Steven Matz, just my opinion on him in general and as a fan of what I want, there's no one on the Mets, and probably you feel the same way, that you want to succeed more than Steven Matz, being that he was 10 minutes from our hometown. Yeah. I mean, the best part of Steven Matz this year was when I went home to the hometown and visited the Seaport Deli, and I got the Matz sandwich. That was the best part of Steven Matz this year. It was a damn good sandwich, but you know what?
Very good sandwich.
They might
What's on that sandwich?
You know what?
The Matz.
I would love to tell you. I will let you know next. I'm forgetting what's on there because I'm drawing a blank. They have a DeGrom. They have the Matz. It's a great sandwich. Both of them are great sandwiches. But you know what? That's all he brought to the table this year is a damn good sandwich at the Seaport Deli. That's it.
I like a good Sammy.
Well, who doesn't? But you know what? It's this whole thing. You remember we heard about, and then I read that Joel Sherman is mentioning that the Mets should maybe trade for a third baseman. And it's like, okay, I understand that. And he tries to list Steven Matz as being the bait to get. And the names that he mentions for a guy with what's his ERA again?
6.08.
6.08 ERA. He wants a guy, Steven Matz, 6.08 ERA to fetch you Manny Machado or Josh Donaldson. I'm sorry, Joel Sherman. That is never happening.
Dude, that was Joel Sherman that said that?
Yes.
Okay, well, then I'm going to wow, he's the one who talked about the Votto thing, which we'll get to in a little bit. Wow. Freaking Joel.
I would drive him to the airport. You know what? I would drive him to Baltimore to get Manny Machado back.
Me too, dude. I mean, let's get back on track here, though. So we're both kind of in agreement that maybe sending him back down to the minors for a little bit, maybe to hone his craft a little bit. Maybe it'll get his confidence back. I have no friggin' clue. But like we've said, watching his body language out there, it's tough to watch, man. So like, what else do you do? Do you keep him around? Let him get drilled again?
No, we trade him for Manny Machado. Never happening, Joel.
What about this? I saw as well. They said, oh, maybe they just need to skip his next start.
What does that do?
Yeah,
that Mike, I'm glad that was the thing you said out of your mouth. What does that ever do to a guy when you skip his start? That brings his confidence down, does it not?
Extra bullpen session. Cool. Yeah, that'll work.
Sick.
Sick idea, guys.
I mean, Mike, I am so glad you just said that because that's what it is. When you skip a guy's start, the only thing I can think of, it's a negative thing.
Well, listen, the only time you skip a guy's start,
if he's
other
hurt.
than fatigue or injury, is if you're like the sixth man in a 5/6 man rotation. So if you want to call him that, but who are your other five? You guys can't, he's part of a 5-man rotation, so that doesn't make sense.
At the moment, what he should be, if this was our staff, all the guys that were on our roster right now, leave off Syndergaard because he's hurt, leave off Harvey because he's hurt, leave off Wheeler. He would be the number 2. He's supposed to be our number 2 because DeGrom would be 1 and he would be 2. And he's pitching like an 8.
Yeah. He's it's freaking mind-boggling. It really is. Dude, that start yesterday, he let up 7 runs on 7 hits and 3 1/3. That's freaking gross.
Not good.
I mean, listen, I'll give the Yankees props. They got a good hitting team, and when they're right, they can hit with the best of them. So it's not like he played some schlub team, but he's getting drilled by schlub teams too. It's not just the Yankees. I mean, if I could sit here and break down every start, but then I think I'm going to throw my computer through the wall. I really am.
Hasn't been good,
dude. And the problem is the beginning of his game.
Yeah,
His first innings ERA is 9.
Yeah,
9.
It's hard to recover when you're behind the 8 ball like that right away every single time.
Yeah, and that's my Mets rant. It really is.
Steven Matz hour, yeah.
Dude. Just get me a damn sandwich. That's all I want right now. You made me hungry talking about Mats and the freaking sandwich from the deli. I want the sandwich. That's all I want.
Here you go. You guys ready? You guys ready for the Mats? Chicken cutlet, melted jack and cheddar cheeses, crispy bacon, lettuce, tomato, topped with Pepper House dressing on a toasted garlic hero. $11.95 plus tax. What up?
Fuck yeah!
Did you say Pepper House? I don't even know what that is, but it sounds delicious.
Pepper House.
That is a seaport delicacy, Rye. A seaport delicacy. Okay? Fantastic. I might just go drive there now. It's like 4 hours away. I might just go do it.
Well, they're closed right now, right?
Well, you know what? I mean, just this team, bro, I mean, it's in disarray right now. And we are just – it's one of those things. I was talking to my other buddy the other day, and it's a common theme that we both text each other. I can't wait for this season to be over. I hate saying that, but that's the common thing that we always text each other. I can't wait till this season's over. I mean, the month of August right now, they're 5-11. But when you look at that record, 3 of those wins are against the worst team in the league, the Phillies. I mean, it's just not going well right now. You get swept in 4 games. They're having those bad losing streaks. That's the problem. This year, they've had these long little losing streaks. You're getting swept 4 games by the Yankees. We got swept by the Dodgers again a couple weeks ago. It's the same old story right now. The same old friggin' story. You know, Rye? I mean, I can't put it in any other way. It's the same story with this damn team.
Yeah, it's awful. But you mentioned something about, Joel Sherman trading Mats. He's saying traded Mats for one of these guys. You said something about Joey Votto that he said?
Well, yeah, I read another article, and I didn't know the one that you were talking about was Joel Sherman, because this is what this one says. He talks about Joey Votto. Should the Mets trade for Joey Votto? Because he is Sandy Alderson's dream hitter. A ton of walks and a ton of home runs. He's an on-base guy. I think that's everybody's dream hitter, though. It's not just Sandy Alderson's dream hitter. But here's the problem. In that trade, you're going to have to trade your second best prospect in 21-year-old Dominic Smith. That's the first horrible thing. The second horrible thing. What's that second horrible thing, right?
It's the contract.
The contract. He just signed a 10-year, which, Mike, I told you that before. You hate those long contracts.
36-year deals.
10. He signed a 10-year, $225 million contract. Why the frick would we want some of that contract?
Well, listen, Joey Votto is a great hitter, and
absolutely.
I understand that he's Sandy Alderson's dream hitter. Like you said, he's probably many guys' dream hitters. He would be mine too. Mm-hmm. However, he's 33, going to be 34, signed until he's probably 39. That doesn't work. It just doesn't. Guys start deteriorating. He's going to deteriorate. We have a top prospect called up unless Terry's just afraid he can't hit lefties. I don't know. But anyway, we have him up here. This is not the time to start tinkering with that position. And one thing I'd be really pissed about is if we got Joey Votto and were willing to pay him all that money he's owed, that would really piss me off because then we could have used that money at a position of need at second base or third base. Well,
the Mets were just bitching about money, right? When we made that stupid Bruce trade.
All right. Well, while they're at it, why don't you just sign Giancarlo Stanton? He cleared waivers too. Just trade for him. Just take on that much money.
Yeah. Take on that 50-year contract.
It wouldn't be the worst contract on the Mets because Bobby Bonilla apparently has like a 25-year contract.
Still getting paid.
Still paying Bonilla.
I mean, that's just like a running joke with everybody now too, and like people who people here where I live now, know I'm a Mets fan. And they ranked on me when it was Bobby Bonilla Day. There's an actual day called Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yeah, he's owed $1 million, right? Or 1.1 every year.
$1 million every year. Yep.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Genius move by Bobby Bonilla and his agent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Now, Rye. The one thing that really is tweaking my melon about this year, too. Since we are so bad, it's the thing that's really bothering me is the pitching, because this is something that was supposed to be a strength a couple years ago for many years to come. Having a guy like Harvey and Syndergaard and DeGrom and Matz, and Wheeler, even Wheeler. We were supposed to be the best rotation since, I don't know, that Braves rotation in the 90s. But this year, with the injuries, with the underperforming plays of Matz, the team ERA is almost 5, which is 27th in the entire Major League Baseball. 27th for a team that we thought is built on pitching.
Yeah.
27th in the league.
It's awful. It's just downright awful.
It's awful. Let me give you 2 more daunting stats from this pitching staff, because there's a bunch, but these 2, the home runs allowed is killing me too. 169 home runs allowed. That's the 6th most in the MLB. I mean, and you know what? I feel like we talked about the Mets offense. They are, they have been hitting solo home runs all year. It hasn't come in bunches. Well, I feel like they've been giving up 3-run shots, grand slams. It's never just solo home runs. Or if it is solo home runs, it's 5 solo home runs in one game. Am I right?
Back to back. Yeah, it's awful.
That's what I'm saying. So that stat really got to me. And the last one, which, Mike, I know you like this. This stat's a real telling stat, is the opponent's batting average against your pitching staff.
Of course.
Dude, they're batting .272 against us. Again, 27th in the league. I'm getting angry, guys. You hear me over here?
Oh, it's brutal.
I mean, the Mets went from having 5 aces, right, to really going forward 2 guys you can really count on in DeGrom and Syndergaard.
Right.
In
6 months, this happened. It's crazy.
It's an atrocity. It's an atrocity. I mean, the whole thing with Harvey just sucks too, because that was a guy that when he came in the league, obviously highly touted, throwing gas, 98, 99 miles an hour, good breaking ball. But the thing that I loved, and I know you loved about him, was the balls he had getting on that mound.
Big setup.
The
Big
sack and potatoes he had getting on that mound, man. He came onto the scene like wildfire, man. And I loved his intensity. I loved his aggression. I just loved his presence on the mound. Right? Am I talking batshit crazy over here?
Oh, Matt Harvey, it used to be a holiday every time he pitched. It's Matt Harvey Day.
Yeah, then he got the nickname the Dark Knight. And for a while it was like he could have been in the movie Major League. And the Asian guy with that would look and he would drop his balls like the big cojones to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what it was. Everyone looked at Harvey as having those ginormous testicles.
Yep.
And now
they're gone.
Might be short a couple of ribs.
Gone.
Well,
they're gone. His testicles are gone.
Well, you know what? And it starts with the injury bug with him. I mean, he had the Tommy John, okay? And he came back and the year after his Tommy John, he did really well. That was the year they went to the World Series, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then, he was on the mound the last game of that season in the World Series where he wanted to stay in there. And I love that about him. I love that he wanted to go out there. I really do. I love that about him. And then ever since then, he got hurt again, and then he got hurt again, and then this year he got hurt again. Like 3 injuries after the World Series.
I know. And that start, I mean, he pitched very well that game. He just hasn't been good since.
Hasn't been good since. I mean, DeGrom has basically been the only stable guy other than Syndergaard, who's, still really young, and he got a really bad injury this year. And the problem was, and he even said, he even admitted it, bulking up during the offseason, which is a freaking no-no for a pitcher.
I think they all did. I think that's the issue with a lot, like with Matt's too. I think he got a little too big.
Was it a couple of guys on the staff? Jesus Christ, guys.
I honestly think, and I think that it might have been like a team-wide thing. Oh, this is what we should do. We should strengthen. They all took like that Roger Clemens approach, but you know what? It doesn't work when you're not popping roids like Clemens.
That's true. That is so true. I didn't know it was a bunch of them, dude. I thought it was just Syndergaard. I mean, that's annoying.
Honestly, I don't know either. But if you just look at their body types,
okay,
Mott's has gotten bigger this year.
I like how you say Mott's, by the way.
I know, like Mott's applesauce.
Oh, man, I'm telling you guys, Riot, I don't want to talk too much more Mets because I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, one thing about the weekend. So Judge hits that monster home run. Okay?
Monster.
That was an absolute bomb. And I'm waiting for the how far did that go? I'm like, oh, is that like 505, 500? And it comes back. And they say it's 457 feet. Now, that ball, I think, looked to me like it was the farthest home run ever hit at Citi Field. It went up to that third deck.
I think it was.
I haven't seen anybody hit that. There's no way that was only 457 feet.
Yeah. You got me, man.
My question for you guys is, do you trust all these stats? Like, oh, that throw was 103 from right field by Aaron Hicks. That was 457-foot homer. Do you trust all these numbers and stats that you hear?
Yeah, not really. But it's also you take it with a grain of salt. It's just for show. It's just for the entertainment value, I guess. It's not really all that important, I guess.
It's for the new age fan. It's for the young people.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't really care about it, to be honest.
I'll tell you what is important is the strike zone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I think we've all heard of this automated strike zone. Okay, it's been an idea. It's been kicking around the league for a little while, but it's getting a lot of freaking traction, and it pisses me the hell off. From players, I think Stan, you mentioned Zobrist.
Yeah,
right?
Zobrist.
You know why? Because his dumbass manager Joe Madden is another one who's for it. That makes a lot of sense to me because Joe Madden's an asshole.
Well, Joe Madden, why don't you just get a robot to be the manager of the Cubs? You just read a book the whole time, too.
The Cubs would be better off. He almost lost in the World Series. Terry Francona managed circles around him, and Madden still got away with it. But anyway, the strike zone. If they go to an automated strike zone, and I say this with, I'm pretty serious. I would have to try to boycott something the Major League does. I can't say I'd stop watching because that's insanity, but I think I would write a handwritten letter to Rob Manfred, and just a really angry letter or an angry email that his secretary will only get and he'll never get it, but it'll make me feel better. It would be, how horrible would that be if what's going to be behind the catcher?
Oh, I don't. It would be
A
awful.
machine.
Is it going to be like Rosie from like the Jetsons? Is it going to be like an actual robot?
Rosie.
Or is it going to be like a scarecrow with umpire gear, but they're just like shooting in the laser beams for the strike zone from the sides? Like, can you imagine? Like, no more arguing with umpires, no more bickering, no more, jabbering from the dugouts. All that shit is baseball to me, and it would all be gone. And the fact that, like, years ago, this was like brought up like as a pipe dream. We'll have flying cars in the year 2020 type of shit. It's like getting really, really serious, and it's scaring the shit out of me. And if this happens, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. But it's like I could take a lot. I can take replays. I can live with that. They want to, in all sports I'm talking, a lot of these things with the technology I can deal with. But this would be the last straw for me. Just because you had the technology doesn't mean you have to use it. That goes for that transcends sport. That goes for life. Just because you're able to do something doesn't mean you should freaking do it. Umpires are like 90% accurate still when they compare it to this stupid robotic strike zone they would use anyway. A lot of the guys suck, right? Angel Hernandez and CB Buckner still have jobs. I don't know how. But overall, home plate umpires get it right 90% of the time. Why is this why is this an idea?
Yeah.
Help me. Why?
You know what, Mike? And I talked to Rye. We talked about this before. I mean, you lose all the authenticity of the game. All that history of the game, because the human error is a part of sports.
Yes.
Not just baseball.
Thank you.
It's every single sport out there that has an official. Okay? Human error happens, and that's what makes sports so great. We will sit here and rip umps, rip football refs, rip all these officials. We will do that. That's fine. But it's a part of the game that we love so much. You can't take it out. Putting robots or lasers or blazers, I don't even know. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely an asinine thing, Mike. I'm so 100% with you on this, dude.
And, like I said, it's been going around for years, and I never gave it much thought because, again, it seemed to me like just a stupid thing people just wanted to talk about to pass the time. It's gaining so much traction with players and managers and upper management and pretty much everyone except the umpires themselves and me. And it's driving me crazy.
You know what, too? You know what? I think about it this way, too, and I feel like you're on the same page with me with this. But when a guy is arguing with an ump and he gets thrown out and the manager comes out and he gets thrown out too, that's kind of fun to watch.
That would be gone.
It'd be gone. That's fun to watch sometimes.
It would be gone. Who are you going to argue with?
Because what happens?
D2?
What happens when that goes on during a baseball game? An umpire, there's a bad call. A player flips out. He gets tossed. And the manager comes out. He gets tossed. What happens? What happens in the stands? Tell me.
Yeah, the fans love it.
They love it. They go nuts for it, dude.
And sometimes managers do it just to fire up their team.
I love the kick of the dirt on the ump. I love that.
Girardi's the best at covering the home plate in dirt. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, without this in the game, it would just be it would be. I understand what you're saying, Mike, about trying to find a way to do something. Because if this happens, it would really be a blow to me. Like, it would really get me upset. Like,
I mean, honestly, I thought about this today. In your mind, go through exactly what you think that's what it's going to look like.
Well, let me tell you, shame on. Yeah, I know it would look awful. It would just look awful.
And I couldn't deal with it. I wouldn't be able to deal with it.
It would be like playing wiffle ball in the backyard with no.
Use a lawn chair, right?
Yeah, right. It's awful. Like, shame on Ben Zobrist. Shame on any other player or manager that is feeling this way. Because if you deep down asked any single one of them, they know that they get calls to go their way all the time. But
Yeah.
yet, you know what happens when you get calls to go your way? They go against somebody else. But that happens the opposite way. So, like,
I know.
one day I might get called strike 3 on a ball, but one day they might call ball 4 on a strike. It's just part of the game. It
I
all
know.
evens out. It all evens out.
It would take away from the drama of the game. It would take away from the human error, like Nunzi said. I don't think people realize what it would take away and how much this would change. Just to get it perfectly right every single time. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's the end goal, to get it perfectly right, and you're going to take away all that drama and all that other, variability. It's all gone. I really, really hope it never happens. Because
now, would this happen with the base umps too?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
Well, I don't know either. But if it happened there, and why would they? Eventually they would think about it or do it.
How the hell are they going to do that, though? How the hell would they do that?
Well, I guess it would be maybe the same technology that they have in tennis when they have the challenges and they have that, like, Watson.
Well, dude, that would take forever, man.
Oh, I know. It'd be no, you're right. It would. Listen, just please, Rob Manfred, never let this happen.
Don't. Please, God.
That's all I got to say. Just don't let it happen, because I know what baseball's worried about. They are worried about the time of the game here. And I don't think it has anything to do with really, like, they're worried about time of the game. They're worried about getting calls right. You know what? We need the human error in the game. They're worried about losing the young fan. I think that's what this comes down to. This new age of kids, they're all electronics, and I think they believe that electronic strike zone would be good for the young fan. You know what? The manager arguing with the umpire gets the crowd going. It gets the fan base going. And I think that's what gets most 12-year-olds excited when they go to a game, or younger, when they go to their first baseball game, is that stuff like that. Because it's the way it's been. Don't change it. It's the national pastime, but let's keep it the way it is. The game is great. The game is not broken.
Like, picture this. All your strikes, your big animated strike 3 calls are gone for umpires. How is a strike 3 called now?
I don't know. They a buzzer.
Right? Oh, the crowd goes nuts. Get the fuck out of here. It would be so stupid. I can't even. I'm losing my mind.
And you're so right, dude. And the fact that they're actually, like, gaining steam with this freaking crap is unbelievable.
Like, I was just going through what this would actually look like with a robotic strike zone and no one behind the catcher. And I'm like, this is going to be the worst thing to ever happen to baseball. Rob Manfred would go down as the worst commissioner ever in any sport for the rest of human history.
And now I'm picturing a bunch of Rosies out there.
Right? Like, oh, strike 3, Mr. J, like. Picture it. I'm trying to picture every way this could work, and none of them work.
Strike 3.
Yeah. Does it go up on the scoreboard? Like, like no scenario works.
Ball 1. It would be so dumb. Like,
that's a good voice. Maybe you could get hired for the voiceover for.
Yeah, you're the voice of the guy.
Strike 3. Like, it would be awful. Like, this is pissing me off. Like, you know what?
Would it be Siri's voice? I don't know.
No.
It would be like the Watson commercial. That's what it'd be. Watson knows,
Horrible.
But
Horrible.
I can't even talk about this anymore because it actually really is upsetting me. This should never happen.
I know.
Wow. Well, you know what? It's something that's really stupid, and I know, and I hope people were listening today, because we as huge baseball fans, we feel really strongly about this, and I hope that most really, all baseball fans feel the way we do, because it's absolutely ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I just, like you said, Ryan, you're getting so mad. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Mike, I know you wanted to touch on the innings limit really quick.
Yeah, really, really quick, because when we talked about this last time, we put the pod up on Facebook, and an old friend of ours, Big Orf, Christian Orfson, he posted a link to an article kind of to what we were talking about, and I suggest everyone go and read it. Maybe I'll put the link up on our Twitter page.
Yeah, definitely.
Basically, it was more about, innings limits. That's well and good, but if you're mechanically unsound as a pitcher, you're going to get hurt in the first inning anyway. It doesn't matter what your inning limit is. Your mechanics have to be sound. And without really spitting out the whole article, a lot of teams are going to this technology with arm sleeves, with sensors, and even taking it one step further and doing full body, like biomechanical suits. And some teams are putting their pitchers in these suits and these sleeves and having them throw in spring training and analyzing every little thing from arm angle to stride to hip and shoulder separation, all this stuff that they can fine tune and make a guy less prone to injury because his mechanics are better. And one team that did this was the Milwaukee Brewers. Okay, they put all their pitchers into these suits in spring training several years ago, probably 5-6 years ago. And off the top of your head, guess what major league team had 0 Tommy John surgeries for the past 5 years with their major league pitchers?
The Brewers.
The Brewers.
Wow.
So really, really interesting stuff. The article gets into a lot of really neat stuff.
That is.
And basically, it's a battle of two worlds, because basically Major League Baseball is run by these old crotchety pitching coaches who don't want to put their guys in suits and start tinkering with mechanics of major leaguers who have made the major leagues with a certain set of mechanics. So why fix it, right? That's a big mentality going on right now, and it's a kind of this new school, old school approach. But the data it's staggering, and it's interesting to see if a more widespread change is going to be happening with this technology. If you want to talk about technology, this is good technology in my opinion.
Very interesting, man. I got to read that article.
Really was. And really quick, before we hop off, for my Yankee fans, the Yankees have tied the Red Sox.
Ooh,
and they have the bases loaded with nobody out in the top of the 7th. We had a Todd Frazier 2-run homer, and we just had a Gary Sanchez hit his 23rd to tie the game this inning in the 7th. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Nice. Well, the Mets are down 3-0, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
You're out.
It happens. But yeah, guys, great discussion today, guys. I hope if you guys were listening out there, you heard our passion of our teams and of our sport of baseball, because the three of us absolutely love the sport, and we want it to stay the way it is now, and don't change too much. But it was a great discussion, boys. I'm glad we got the night to talk some baseball. Please, check us out on our YouTube channel. View our YouTube channel. We have 8 videos as well. Check them out. You can also download them on iTunes and SoundCloud, and also we have a Twitter account. Like Mike said, he's gonna hopefully post that link.
Yes, at the Angry Hacks.
Yep, at the Angry Hacks. So we are the Angry Hacks signing off, boys. Have a great night.
All right, good night.